dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy. You where they find the pity. Tell Odogu say we like to party. Just call me. You want no dirty bitchy, you gonna dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy when you see dirty bitchy.
Welcome to Do Good Work Podcast, hosted by Terrell Strayhorn and Jaquin Johnson. We specialize in taking a deep dive into issues that truly matter. Each episode unpacks the challenges and opportunities facing today's leaders, from classrooms to boardrooms, offering insights that inspire real change. By redefining success, we're changing lives, empowering people everywhere to create environments where everyone feels a sense of belonging, whether at home, work, or school. So hey, sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we explore the issues shaping our futures, one meaningful conversation at a time. Let's go!
Hello. Welcome to Do Good Work Podcast. It's Sunday, November 30th, 2025, and we are going live. And so I want to take a moment to welcome each and every one of you to the show. And hopefully you are having a fantastic day and, excited about all that we will cover in tonight's show. I'm excited for a lot of different things. I'm going to try to keep my composure as we move through the topics of the day and the show that we have in store. Full solid show for you, as well as some interesting kind of updates and enhancements. So do me a favor, if you are tuning in from Facebook, from Instagram, it's not on Instagram, from, what's that mean, LinkedIn, or YouTube, then do a couple of things. Like and share, drop it into the family group chat, drop it into your work chat. Let folks know that we are on the air live, coming at you all across these platforms. Help us get folks to tune in to the live show, not just the recording later, but the live show. And so looking forward to what promises to be a really productive show. And so we're going to talk a lot about some of the things I talked about on Saturday. Hopefully those of you who are able to check out, do me a favor, go and check out our YouTube channel. And if you have not already, don't forget to subscribe. Certainly want to thank you for tuning in to tonight and watching the show. But if you get a chance, go to YouTube, youtube.com, and go to our channel at Terrell Strayhorn and like and subscribe. Subscribe. Get all your friends to subscribe. Get all of your fraternity brothers and sorority sisters to subscribe. If you are a faculty member, get your whole class to subscribe and subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll know when we're going live and what's to come ahead. But there are also some things that, quite frankly and transparently, are possible when we hit a certain number. So right now, if I'm remembering, we're at like 350, somewhere in that range, and we're trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. So please, sir, please, ma'am, please, everyone, help us get to 500 500 by the end of the year by liking and subscribing and getting those who you know to do the same. Because once we get to that number, there are other things that we can offer to those of you who are in the listening audience. And I want to make sure you get those perks and benefits. And I've shared some of that on Saturday. So I launched a new show on Saturday called TLS Talk. So if you are an avid listener to Do Good Work podcast on Sundays at 8, this show, then please also look forward to TLS Talks. That won't always be, it will certainly be primarily on Saturdays, but there'll be lots of times that I'll go live and I'll just sort of talk. One of my teammates called it Coffee with Terrell kind of setting. So it's a longer show, and we have a lot more involved in the show than we typically do in the podcast only. But I want you to make sure that you listen to the podcast, that you check in on TLS Talks. And the easiest way to get all of this information is go to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And that means that way, when I go live and when we have the podcast, and we're going to be dropping a lot of different content over the next, I would say, 7 days, and certainly by the end of this year. And so you'll get all of it if you tune in there on that show. All right. So you know how we do this. We kick off our show with the game. And certainly you probably recognize that at least 50% of the host staff is not here tonight. So to my co-host, Jaquin, he is traveling. I know it's holidays for everyone, so happy holidays. Hopefully you had a very good November holiday. If you celebrate and recognize Thanksgiving, hopefully your Thanksgiving was good and yummy. You got good food, good friends, good folks, good music. We're going to listen to some of that tonight. But, the holiday season is a time that's marked with opportunity to connect with friends and family and loved ones and coworkers. But it's also a time where, sometimes it's a moment where you are reminded of who no longer is with us. And so if you are in that situation, love and light to each and every one of you. But you know how we kick the show off. And if Jaquin was here, he'd be doing it. And that is taking the first letter of your last name. I know there are people. Hello, Creola. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holiday to you. So good to see you here. Hello to my first love, my mom, who gave me life. Hello to those who are tuning in. Drop some comments in the chat on whatever platform you're on. If so, we'll show them here on the screen. But here's how we start off our show each and every week. We start with the first letter of your last name. So if your last name is Barnes, it's a B. If your last name is Cartwright, it's a C. If your last name is Washington, it's a W. My last name is Strayhorn. And so it's an S. And you pick a word, we call it your good word of the week, because it's Do Good Work podcast, your good word of the week. What's your good word of the week? Think about the first letter of your last name. How are you feeling? And I would say that my word tonight is I am feeling quite, let's see. I'm trying to think of a good word that I should have thought about this. I'll say this. Shift, S-H-I-F-T. The reason why is I'm in this interesting headspace and have been for a week or two now. No, maybe more like a week and a half, where it's kind of like a shifting transition. There's change on the horizon, lots of newness. And I'm excited about that newness. I'm excited about new opportunities, new ways. And, some of it deals directly with the show and the channel and the platform and the public engagement. And so I would say that that's my word, shifting. I'm feeling excited about the shift. All right, we've got, hello, Niles. The word is blessed, and it is Sunday. We're going to come to that maybe in a moment. I'll play a song, get us thinking about the day that it's Sunday, and then we'll come back and get into tonight's topic. There's some things I want to talk about, make sure that we are keeping up with. So one is blessed. We also got smooth, feeling smooth. That's a good way to feel. You don't feel jagged. You don't feel antsy, no anxiety. Don't feel rough, but smooth. Yeah, just sort of coasting through. The night is good. The day is good. Hopefully you had a good Sunday. We got happy. That's a good word. If I had queued it up, I'll make sure I get it. I got to find Pharrell's Happy. That would be a great song to kick into right now. But here we are. It's Sunday, November 30th. Can y'all believe it? It's November 30th. Tomorrow, when you lay down tonight and you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be December, which means we have now, I don't even know how many of you remember this, but like I can remember coming into this year. I literally remember January. And here it is. We are about to enter into the last month of the year, the last 31 days. If you did not get a chance, I'll try to drop it into the chat. Check out the episode yesterday from Saturday's TLS Talks. I talked about the last 32 days of the month, of the year, and how we can use them to get prepared for 2026. 2026, if you are a person who's like me, who said, you know what, 2026 cannot be a continuation of the past. It can't be a continuation of the things I've already been doing. There's some things I had hoped either I would do or would happen in 2025 that did not happen. They're going to happen. They got to happen in 2026. And so 2026 is the year. If that's you, then check out the episode. I'll drop it on the chat. I'll put it there. But also, if you go online to subscribe at the YouTube channel, then you would get the notification about all of the episodes. But go and check that out because it talks about how we should spend the next 31 days. So what I'm going to do for TLS Talks, the Saturday show, is for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to walk us through how we should approach the next 4 weeks. The first assignment is really thinking about clarity. That is, what is it that you want in 2026? What is it you want to accomplish in 2026? How do you want 2026 to differ from 2025? Things just don't happen magically or automatically. They happen with intentionality, planning, and focus. And so spending some time in the next 7 days, starting today through the next 7 days, thinking about clarity of vision, clarity of focus. What is it that I want to accomplish in that 7 days? And then secondly, as I'm thinking about that, to get that clarity about what I want, what is it that I'm doing that I don't need to be doing any more of, right? So what are the things you're going to stop doing as a result of your commitment to doing some things? And that's got to be part of that clarity. And then as we move from clarity in the next couple of weeks, I'll talk about consistency and some other C words to get us there. All right, so drop into the chat if you have any questions throughout the show. Certainly, if you are just tuning in, welcome to Do Good Work Podcast. I'm your host, Terrell Strayhorn. Looking forward to a really great show. If you have not already, drop your word of your good word of the week into the chat. And so that means first, think about the first letter of your last name. I gave examples. If your last name is Washington, a W word. If your last name is Barnes, it's a B word. All right, so do that. I'm going to give you an opportunity, encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then we're going to enjoy some music. I'll come back and kick off our topic for the night. All right, be sure to like and subscribe to that channel. Be greatly appreciated. And since it is Sunday and I'm thinking about the fact that it's a beautiful Sunday, I'm going to give us some music that will get us in a good headspace before we get into tonight's topic. So let's enjoy this song. Happy Sunday.
I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding you up, so there is nothing I can do to let you down. It doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Oh, going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean so I wouldn't drown. wanna forget how I feel right now on the mountaintop. I can see so clear what it's all about. So stay by my side when the sun goes down. Don't wanna forget how I feel right now. Jireh, Jireh, you are enough. Oh, Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. You are Jireh, you are enough. I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved, more than I could imagine. And that is enough. I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, yeah. I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved, more than I could imagine. And that is enough. That is enough. What His truth says is better than anything. That is enough. I don't need money or material things. That is enough. That is enough. Lord, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Jehovah, you are. El Shaddai, you are. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance that you are Jireh, you are enough.
Woohoo! Hopefully you enjoyed that beautiful song. Drop into the chat if you liked it. That was Jireh, an acoustic cover by Will Giddings. And so we certainly appreciate the gift and artistry of Will with Jireh. And, it's Sunday, so I don't know. For those who went to church service, any of those kinds of places, feel free not only to let me know in the chat whether you liked the music, so that I can get an idea of the kind of music we enjoy, so as we build the playlist out for episodes to come. But also, if you went to church, whether that was in person or online, y'all know how to do it. Text and title, where did you go? Tell me what they preached, the text and the title. This is a pop quiz. Did you pay attention at church? Do you remember what the folks talked about? Sometimes when I've gone to churches and been asked to preach, people be like, oh my gosh, you preached so well. You just tore it up. And I'd be like, so what part did you like most? Or if you ask them like, what was my title, or what was my text, or what did I, share? Sometimes they can't repeat it. So a lot of times we hear it and it's like instantly we enjoy it in the moment, but whether or not we can remember what we just heard is an open question. And so if you went to church, checked out church, know your text, title, drop it into the chat for me. Let me know where you went. Let us know where you went. We certainly appreciate that. All right. I've posted also on different platforms. So let me make sure everything is looking like it's supposed to. And again, thank you for tuning in. So what we're going to talk about tonight is a continuation in a way of what I shared a little bit on Saturday. I'm going to leave the full sort of series for the TLS talk show. So I won't go into great detail about the 4 elements of how you want to spend your weeks in the next 31 days as we make our way into 2026. But I do want to talk a little bit about some related topics, especially as we get into these last 31 days, thinking about how do we then prepare for an optimal 2026. So we're going to talk a little bit about goals. We're going to talk about grit, the psychology of finishing strong. If I had to give this a sort of title for tonight, the psychology of finishing strong, and that's why I'm looking for someone who's out there. When you're ready to either drop into the chat, I'll also pull up LinkedIn because I know sometimes LinkedIn doesn't show me what I can see here on StreamYard on other platforms. But if you have a text and title, a lot of preachers will preach about finishing strong and talk about how, we should, those glasses have a glare, but how we should finish strong. And, it's not always how you start a thing that matters most. It's also how you finish something. And so if when I ran track in high school, I remember starting a race. I think I was just sharing someone about this the other day, that anybody who has run track or participated in any sport really can think about this. When you're at the starting line, one of the things I learned to do was to think about, stop worrying about who's beside me and what are they doing and what are the sounds around me, but I would center myself. And so this is before I knew that mindfulness was a thing, but I would often remember thinking like, okay, I'm present in my body. I can feel my limbs. I know where my legs are. I know where my feet are on the starting line. I know whether it's warm or if it's cold outside. I hear the sounds around me, but I'm not being distracted by them. I'm thinking more consciously about, okay, when the gun fires off, that I have to start, right? And so one of the things I've learned over the years is it's not always how you start something, right? Because there are races, there are relays, there are marathons that I started off super duper uber fast, right? As a sprinter, as someone who can run relatively fast, and I have relative endurance running fast, I could take off really fast, right? But by the time I come back around, especially when I was doing more long distance, as a sprinter, long distance was like, oh my gosh, why in the world would you want to run this far or this long? But let me say it to you this way. What the approach and the technique that you use when running a sprint, right? A shorter distance, super fast, that approach is different when you have to run a distance. And I think what happens now, I'm switching from a athlete runner's mindset to a psychologist podcaster mindset. What I've observed in life is that quite often people will use sprinting techniques when running the long distance, right? And you can't do that. You take off fast, you'll burn out by the end. You take off fast, but you're going to run out of steam by the end. You take off fast with the project, you take off fast with school, you take off fast with the job, you take off fast with the relationship, and you just have nothing, no stamina, no lasting power. What you have to do is switch mindset. Sprinting works when you got to sprint, but when you have to do the long haul, you have to use a different approach. You might not start off, in no case am I arguing start off slow or slowly, but you might start off with a different cadence, a different speed, so that by the end you have, you can last, you can make it, much further and longer. You pace yourself. And that same psychology or wisdom is important when talking about how do I approach big projects, whether it's a do it yourself project, big projects at work, relationships, both personal and emotional. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But I see some comments. So yes, okay. Joseph accepting Jesus as his son. That was one of the words at church. All right. Looks like somebody went to church. If you went to church and you know the text and the title, drop in the chat so we can share it. But we're thinking tonight about the psychology of finishing strong. And I was talking about how a lot of times I've gone to church, I've heard preachers preach about finishing strong. In fact, there's a song. Again, if I had queued it up, I would have it to play for you. And maybe I don't know if I can get it during one of the breaks, but finishing strong is a phrase that we kick around in the church. And it's like, you know, whatever you do, finish strong. See it to the end. End with the same level of energy and fervor that you began something with. And so tonight we want to talk a little bit about it, because what's really interesting, and I was going to do this and I'll probably try to do it before the next TLS talks. If you go to a gym, go to Planet Fitness, go to Orange Theory, go to any Gold's Gym, whatever your gym is, you'll be surprised how many people are in the gym January 1st, January 3rd, maybe by January 4th, compared to November 30th, right? If you, and you know, I have a membership at Planet Fitness, and so I can go on the app and find my local gym, and it'll tell me whether it's a busy time, whether it's an empty time, whether it's a time where there are a lot of people there and relatively few or low access to the equipment, or if it's a time where I have a lot of access to the equipment. And here's what I know is in January, gym is usually packed. Lots of people there, very few times that you can go and it's empty. But this time of year, by November 30th, lots more availability. Why? Because everyone wants change. Everyone wants change. But few people have the mindset, the determination, the discipline to achieve it. People want change, but they want it to happen automatically. They want change, but they don't want to work for it. Few people actually plan for change, pursue that change, work hard for that change. And so we're going to talk about this because usually people start the year with New Year's resolutions, all sorts of things. They're going to lose weight. They're going to get a new job. They're going to not drink, soda pop, or what is this stuff called? Soda. They're going to, fix up their lawn. And by the time this time of year, a lot of their motivation and interest in pursuit of those goals has dwindled. And so part of what we've got to realize is January is a month filled with ambition, lots of plans, lots of people who want to do stuff that's new relationship, new car, new year, new me, as people say. But by February, which is what, 28 days or 30 days in January, 30 days later, after that ambition, the new resolutions, the big goals, reality sets in. And by February, a lot more people are more realistic about what they can accomplish. They're less likely to be talking about these ambitious goals that they set in January. And a lot of the discipline that they need in order to achieve those goals, it hasn't developed. So most people don't fail because they lack desire. It's not that people don't have a desire or a goal or an aspiration or even a dream. Most people don't fail because they lack desire or dreams. They fail because they lack design. They lack discipline. They lack the intentionality that it takes to bring all of that into fruition. So part of this is not about just dreaming and journaling and writing it down or putting it on social media and tagging a friend or telling it. Some of this has to do with the fact that it's about what we do with ourselves. Self-regulation becomes the engine, that if we can create the environments for us to do well, to perform well, then we will actually achieve our goals and dreams. But part of it has to do with the fact that we have to understand our mind and train our mind to develop the habits, what we call discipline, that will lead to achievement of these dreams and goals. So in these last 31 days of the year, it's important for us to, like I said on Saturday, have ocular clarity, focus about what we want to accomplish, but then not just seeing and dreaming and desiring, but designing and developing discipline for us to achieve those dreams. And so whether it's writing these things down in our planner and our note cards, having accountability partners, we really have to get into design mode of, okay, I know what I'm trying to build, I know what I'm trying to achieve, but how do I start to design the steps and the phases and the processes, the process flows that will lead to achievement of that, right? So it starts not with announcing it on social media. It doesn't start with just jumping to it. It's really starting with the thinking, the design thinking that will lead us to achievement of those goals and dreams and aspirations that we set for ourselves. So if you don't understand your mind, then your habits won't survive your mood, right? So you'll start developing, like for me, I started the year, the reason why I have a Planet Fitness gym membership is because I started the year saying, you know what, I'm going to be more intentional about going to the gym. And if I have a gym membership at a place like Planet Fitness, although there are lots of options out there, with my travel schedule and work schedule, I'll be able to go because there's a Planet Fitness, lots of different places. And that was good logic, solid logic that helped my mind understand, get the membership so you can pursue your dream of the going to the gym. Now, interestingly enough, the first day of the year, first week of the year, I was in the gym. I was enjoying it. I learned about how to use Planet Fitness. I learned the kinds of courses, and I'm a person who likes to learn. People who know me pretty well know that. I like to learn. And so here I am in the gym. I'm learning. I'm going to classes. I figured that would be a great way for me to, really develop some talent about this, because if I go to classes, I'm learning from an instructor. And so I learn like cardio techniques. I learn some weight techniques. I learned a lot of stuff when I went to these classes. But after about a week or two of going to the gym, I don't know, probably woke up one morning and it was raining. And I thought, I had to get out in the rain. I wasn't in the mood to go to the gym. And because I had not trained my mind to develop the mental habits and beliefs about how to develop the design and the discipline to achieve my goal of going to the gym regularly, I had not conditioned my mind, then my habits of getting up and going to the gym couldn't survive my mood. It worked when I'm in the mood to go to the gym, but it doesn't work when I'm not in the mood. So for your application, for those who are doing big projects, those who are working at work, those who are doing writing kinds of projects, I got lots of students in my network, whether you're at the undergraduate, graduate, high school, or postgraduate level, right? You've got to think about the psychology of really trying to finish strong. And it starts with certainly the kind of clarity and focus of like, what am I trying to achieve? But also then matching that with the mindset of saying, you know what, I've got to do this. I've got to write every day for 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, regardless of that. I've got to journal every single day or 3 days a week, regardless of how I feel. I've got to get up and go to the gym. I've got to, knock out this corner. Growing up with my mom and my dad, I attribute a lot to my parents in terms of what I'm able to do. And I would say that right now, I don't keep a messy house or a messy place, because growing up in my parents' house, they taught me, my brothers and sister, how to clean. My mom had a strategy. You sort of start in one corner of whatever it is. So you take a big home or a big apartment or a big mansion, or it could be a 1-bedroom apartment. It doesn't matter the size, because your focus and your approach has to be so laser focused that you start in kind of one corner. When I say one corner, that has to be the smallest corner, but like you start in one room. Doesn't matter if you have 10, start in one. And you really start in the corner of that room and start figuring out, what do I have to do? So you break down this big room or any size room into, okay, I've got to clean up this corner. I've got to organize that desk. I've got to put those things back in the cabinet over there. And I've got to make up this bed and clean the floor. So one big, large room that could be overwhelming becomes 4 micro kinds of tasks, right? That mindset has served me well throughout my lifetime, because regardless of where I've lived, I'm able to keep a clean place because my habits of cleaning up, straightening up, making up my bed, putting things back, it's with me and it survives my mood. Even if I'm tired, I know how to do it. Even if I'm exhausted, I know how to do it. Even if I'm sick physically, I know how to do it. And so, it's really important that as we think about the psychology of finishing strong, we finish strong because we train our mind that we have what it takes to finish. Finishing is not an option. It is guaranteed. It is inevitable. It is going to happen. Whether we finish first, we finish fifth, we finish last, we will finish, and we will finish strong. So as I think about it, moving into the next kind of component of this, I wonder, for those of you who are tuning in the chat, what's one resolution that you made in 2025 that didn't survive until November, right? So what's one goal or resolution that you made probably in January, I'm going to say this year, 2025, that didn't survive until November? And if you want to put that in the chat, we'll share and talk about it. I know for myself, I just shared one of mine is my dream was I would go to the gym, I think it was 3 times a week. And I had calculated that 3 times a week for 54 weeks, how many times I would have gone to the gym. It made sense then to have the gym membership and what I would have accomplished. It did not survive. That did not occur. That did not happen. So do not worry. What's one? No judgment zone. One sort of resolution you set for yourself this year that didn't survive. And the cool thing about naming it and putting it out there, whether you put it in the chat, I would love for you to do that. But even if you put it in your own notes, is you can revisit, you can go back, you can check that out later. And as you start to chart your path toward 2026, you can think about, what else you can do in order to get that, to elevate that goal back. So like, although I didn't hit the mark with going to the gym 3 times a week this year, maybe I realized that's too much given my work schedule. And actually, quite frankly, I do think it might be too much. Maybe I need to scale it back to 2 times a week. And then I start designing the plan, the strategy, the mindset that will allow me to do that in 2026. All right. Now we want to talk about why resolutions fail, the psychology behind this, people giving up their resolutions. But before we do that, I want to make sure that, one, for those of you who are tuning in or will tune in, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you like the episode, the show. It helps us tremendously. So if you are watching on YouTube, double tap the screen, like, go down to the bottom. You see the heart, hit that heart for me, get some hearts and love and like the episode. We'll be right back to continue this conversation about why resolutions fail, the psychology behind all of it. All right. So, one of the things that I know for those who have been on the show and have seen the show, is that we have a product line at Do Good Work. So today I saw my colleague, special shout out to my colleague and friend, Dr. Arletha McSwain. She had on her Do Good Work hoodie. And it made me think about the fact that, with these Do Good Work hoodies, it's a hoodie that can be customized, but primarily it's got the logo on the hood. It says, keep up the good work on the front, and on the back it says it's not over until you win. And so I want to make sure that those who have not already gotten their Do Good Work hoodie can do so. You can send that in on any platform through DM. Let us know what you want, how many you want, your size. We'll send back an invoice and all of that. And for those of you, or you can put it into the chat if you want to go ahead and order it now. But we have a quick sort of promo about the hoodies, and I want to show that to you so you can enjoy. And if you have not already, be sure to order your Do Good Work hoodie today. All right. Sorry, that was super fast. Let me make sure. All right, so make sure you get your Do Good Work hoodie. You can drop into the chat if you want it. You can also email us. You've got email running at the bottom of the screen. You've got lots of different ways to place that order, but I'll make sure I wear mine too, so you can see it in the next episode. Now let's talk about this. So people often set goals, resolutions. All goals are not resolutions, but a lot of people will set resolutions at the top of the year. I wouldn't say I set resolutions. I do set goals. Again, my mom and dad raised us. We had, in our family growing up, believe it or not, we had a conference, New Year's conference, like family conference at the top of the year, where we would come together as a family in the kitchen most times. And we would talk through what went well in the last year, where some of the challenges were for all of, and we individually, my mom would share, my dad would share, my sister would share, my brother, myself. We would share like what went well and what did not go well. What were our high points? What were our pain points? And then also talking about like going forward in the new year, where we could appreciate some help, some assistance from the family. And people would ask questions and follow up. And it was pretty well done. My mom, we would put together the agenda. There would be resources. We would have packets of material. Sounds surreal, but we did that. And so we would all plan somewhere around January to have the family conference. And it became a tradition. And it was special because it was an opportunity to hear from each other about your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your vulnerabilities, your insecurities, what you were confident about, and then also ways that we could support each other. And so for that reason, I've been one who will typically set goals versus, I'd say, resolutions. Like this year, be it resolved that I want to do whatever. I would more often than not use the new year as a time to think about what are my goals. I do some reflective work to think about what went well in the previous year and what do I want to course correct going forward. And I also think about the kind of resources that I need in order to achieve my dreams and aspirations. And those resources can be people, places, persons, things, whatever. And a lot of that I trace back to my childhood. Now, listen. The reason why some resolutions fail or people set these goals and resolutions and don't achieve them, there's a psychology behind this. People set goals for the versions of themselves they hope to become, not the version that actually exists today. I'll use myself as an example. So like I said, I started this year off saying I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. Why? Well, because I enjoy being in the gym. I think it was not always something that I thought I would enjoy. I've had lots of friends and fraternity brothers who have invited me to go to the gym, and I've declined those invitations in years past, thinking I didn't have much to do with the gym. But going into the gym and being there, it's I'm on the steps and I'm looking at the news, and it's just time to be with myself and my thoughts. I'm on the bike and I'm thinking through the week and the moment and what am I planning for the week. So it's just solitude. It's good time for reflection, good time for self-care, right? So, and I also like being able to push myself physically to like do more, go harder, go faster, whatever it might be. Now, people set goals usually for the version of themselves that they hope they will become, not the version that actually exists today. So, like I long for a day where, I'm so in control of my schedule that I can go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week without hiccup. I long for a work-life balance where I can realistically and consistently know that I can pull away from my work situation, my work realities, my deadlines, my projects, my meetings and phone calls to where I can, like I have friends who say like, I go to the gym before work and then I take a shower and then I go to work. Well, that works on days where my day doesn't start at 7 a.m. But when my day starts at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., before you know it, here I am, and it doesn't work that way, right? So sometimes I've found that as a psychologist, people set goals based on the version of themselves they hope to become. They want to be consistent. They want to be disciplined. They want to be unbothered, but they're not actually that yet. So then they set this goal and then the true self sets in, right? So I set this goal of 3 times in the gym per week. And then I have a Monday morning meeting. I have a Wednesday morning meeting. I have a Thursday morning meeting, and usually I'm just started going live on Saturday morning. So like my day starts before my day starts, right? I wish there was a different kind of cadence to my life sometimes, but that's not true. So we over rely on what we hope to become versus designing and building and setting our goals, our dreams, our aspirations on what we are right now. So we'll walk into a room and say, I'm going to clean up this whole room, when in fact we know that, our lives are not that way. That's the self that we hope to become, to have that kind of discipline, to have that kind of consistency, to have that kind of freedom and privilege to not be interrupted in that time. But if we're honest with ourselves, we know we're going to get 5 phone calls and we're going to have to answer them because why? We have kids. People depend on us. We just we're working on. We have to work, whatever it might be. So we over rely on this becoming self and not anchor enough into who we are realistically. So over reliance on motivation versus our routine. The best way to set your goals, your resolutions, is not to ask yourself, what do I hope I'll get to do? It's really to ask yourself, what have I done? So, consistently for me, I've been doing, when I was really focused on going to the gym, I was doing well to get to the gym once a week. I had a routine for that. If I could do 2 times or 3 times or, longer periods, then great. It was gravy on the vegan sausage, whatever. But, my routine is what should help me determine my goals, my resolution. So rather than say I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, maybe it's more reasonable for me to say I'm going to shoot for 2026 to be more consistent in going at least once a week because I've been able to pull that off, right? And then anything above becomes icing on the cake, extra. But paying attention to routine, especially as we start to design our goals day to day, for large projects, for small projects, for work and the like. And then the other reason why these resolutions and goals fail for people is there's no accountability, right? There's no reinforcement. So one of the things I'm going to do in 2026 is have an accountability partner for several of the goals that I want. Like I have a writing project right now where one of my collaborators and friends and I have been working on this special issue. And we are accountability partners for each other. There are times where his life gets complicated. And so I will hold his feet to the fire. And there have been times where my life has been complicated. And he'll hold my feet to the fire and say, hey, you got to get this done. Hey, you got just the other day, we hopped on screen to work together. There are all sorts of ways that we can support each other and be accountability partners. But without that sense of accountability, like I don't have to get this done, a lot of times goals, dreams, visions get left on the cutting room floor. So the other reason why goals, resolutions, whether they're day-to-day, like, hey, today I'm going to cook dinner. I'm not going to go out to eat. I'm going to cook dinner. Or today I'm going to clean the car. Or today I'm going to clean up my inbox and make sure my, email is right. Well, the reason why those goals get set and sometimes not achieved is our brains prefer the familiar, the routine, consistency, the things that we do consistently and consistently well. It does not like change. It does not like difference. It does not like, you might get a kick out of like, ooh, I'm going to challenge myself to do something different here, to do more than I've been doing. But the brain prefers what it already knows, right? So if I took the trash out yesterday, my brain is comfortable with me taking the trash out tomorrow. It is not comfortable with me saying, I'm going to take the trash out and mow the lawn and go run errands. That change is not something that the brain embraces unless the reward outweighs the tension between what I'm used to doing, what you want me to do, between routine and the new resolution, right? So you've got to start to, what we call in psychology, retraining, reprogramming your brain to understand that there's a reward associated with achieving what you set for yourself. Said differently, lots of people who follow me on social media know that I often will say I like desserts. And I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to try to eat dessert with every single meal. A couple of years ago, I was on a roll. I would not have a meal if I was not having some form of dessert, with this cookie, a cupcake, a slice of pie, ice cream, a blondie, whatever it might be. I was going to have some sort of dessert with my meal. And quite often I used dessert as a reward for myself. Like if I knew I had to finish a book chapter that was due to an editor, I would say to myself, okay, I know you got a lot to do today. On a Sunday, I might have to go to church. I'm a church musician, so I might have to play for my choir, and they're going to want to go out to eat. But if you go home and focus and get the book chapter done and submitted, then you get to take yourself out for dessert. So my brain is thinking, oh my gosh, let me hurry up and focus. Let me, even when phone calls are coming in and text messages are coming in, I want to be distracted. My brain is saying, no. I want the reward. I want the dessert. So as humans, we have to condition ourselves to attain our goals. We call it goal attainment through reward, intrinsic and extrinsic award. Intrinsic rewards are internal. They're not tangible things. They're kind of like, I'm finishing a book by the end of this year. The reason why I want to finish it, because one, it gives me a sense of accomplishment, completion. That's intrinsic. I'll get nothing tangible I can hold up or show you, just an internal sense of completion and finishing strong. I want to finish the book because I think it's going to make a difference to people. Someone will benefit from the book and its work. Okay, again, another sort of intrinsic reward. I can't immediately hold up something tangible to show you that book has value. But I also want to finish that book because when that book is out and it's out there for sale, then as it gets sold, I'll get royalty checks or royalty revenue. And that is a tangible reward. I will eventually be able to hold those dollars and say, because I got that book out, so I'm motivated to get the book done, and I'm holding up for myself these rewards, intrinsic and extrinsic. Some of them are long-term, like royalties. It'll take a year or more for me to ever realize that. So I've been working to condition myself to pursue my goals and attain them through short-term rewards, like dessert, like going out for a walk, like buying myself a new hoodie or something that I'm really looking for. I'm just trying to offer to you that if you're trying to start to think about one in the short term, what are you going to do in the next 31 days? And certainly what do you want to do in 2026? Think about the role of rewards and short-term and long-term, intrinsic and extrinsic, that you might use as you design the conditions, design the plan that will lead to attainment of your goals. Goals are often too large, too vague, and too disconnected from who you are for people to pursue them ruthlessly for an entire 365 days. So clarity of these goals, making them tangible, achievable, specific, and connected to who you are and where you're going is another way to avoid, dropping your goals. If your goal doesn't fit your life will evict your goal. If your goal does not fit in your life will evict or kick out your goal, right? So one of the things I had to do is I started thinking about, this is probably about February or March, I realized, you know what, I'm paying for this gym membership, but I'm not going on a regular because I'm, between two places for work, or I'm at work and I'm using, having extended hours in the office, or 5 days in the office leads to traveling on a plane to speak on a Saturday. And I'm going. I'm not going to the gym. So what I decided to do, and I wish I had them here, but I went on Amazon and I purchased some portable kinds of equipment, like hand grips that I could use on a plane, that I could use in my hotel room. I also got these sliders that I can pack in my suitcase. They just sort of combine, and you use them to do push-ups in the hotel room. You could do them in a co-working space. So because my life didn't really fit, or rather the goal of going to the gym 3 times a week doesn't fit my life, not my current life, not my current who I am in reality right now, my life started to evict that goal. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't achieving it. It wasn't happening. And so I modified my approach and bought some equipment that would allow me some flexibility so that I can now work out in hotel rooms and places where, even in my office, I can sit there and squeeze the little small dumbbells I can lift, or squeeze the hand grips. All right. So that's another important piece of this. All right. So I want to make sure that we also talk about some things that we can do to achieve our goals going forward. We've talked about goals and resolution at the top of the year. We've talked a little bit about why some resolutions and goals fail or people don't achieve them. Now let's talk a little bit about finishing this year strong. And this is where we're going to shift from the theory more to the practical system. That'll give me on-ramp or runway to talk about specific practices with you, and then we'll close out this episode. So I want to offer a couple of thoughts, and that is, one, in order to finish strong this year, you got to start with knowing who you are. I talk a lot about identity in my work as an education scholar, even as a psychologist. Our goals have to be tied to, anchored to who we are, who we know ourselves to be, who we have become, and who we are becoming. Goals anchored in identity outlast goals that are driven by impulse, right? So if I'm identity, who I am, if you answer the question, who am I, or complete this statement, I am, fill in the blank, dare you to put it in the comments or the chat. It is I am, and you might even say a, right? And to give yourself some options here, might look something like this. And I'll even share mine. So like, I am a professor, author, podcaster, preacher, communicator, teacher, parent, son, musician. I'll stop there. All right, I could keep going. But those are the things that I am. So therefore, my goals should be anchored in that understanding, right? Like, one of the things I want to do and you'll know it, especially if you go to the channel, like and subscribe, is I want to release a YouTube playlist of me playing and maybe having some positive psychology affirmations on top of them. I'm still brewing in my mind, right? But that goal makes sense. It's likely to be achieved. Why? Because in part, it is aligned with my identity. I am a musician. I know how to play the piano. I know how to lay out the music at the right beat, timbre, cadence for positive affirmations to be voiced over it, right? Now, by the same token, I was just having some car trouble and, need to probably get someone to look at the car and help me understand like what needs to be done to it. I am not a mechanic. Nowhere in all of those lines did I say I'm a mechanic, I'm a car fanatic, I'm an engineer, none of those things, right? So if I set a goal of, fixing my alternator or my transmission or improving, redoing the body of my vehicle, I mean, that's a goal that I'm probably not going to achieve. One, because it's not at all tied to or aligned with my identity. Goals that are anchored in identity outlast goals driven by impulse. So I want to write more is one way of framing a goal. But a better way of doing it is I am a writer who will write daily. So I'm a writer and I want to write daily. I'm a podcaster and I want to podcast more regularly. I am a nurse and I want to help more people. So starting with the who you are and then tying that to what you want to do and making it measurable, observable, actual, something you can achieve and go after. So the one is to start with identity alignment, making sure that your goals align with who you are, who you know yourself to be. Secondly, that you make the goal smaller. Sometimes people abandon their goals because their goals are so big. Like I want to, do this whole big project when maybe you should start with just one part of it. Maybe it's not overhaul the whole car, but I want to start with just cleaning out the trunk, right? The car will come, but I'm going to start with the trunk, getting that together, and then I'll move forward. Making the goal smaller so you can make it achievable, maybe cutting it in half. The brain really trusts gradual approaches, gradual wins, gradual eventual kinds of progress, much more than these grand gestures. When we start saying like, I want to write the whole book, our brain is like, oh gosh, based on our routine, if we don't have a habit of cranking out a book in a day, the brain is saying, oh, that's big. That's not probably going to happen right now. But if we say, yes, I'm going to produce the book, I'm going to produce the whole series, I'm going to, revamp the whole downstairs, but I'm going to start with the first chapter. I'm going to start with just the table of contents. I'm going to start with just the living room. I'm going to start with this small project that's part of this larger strategy at work. The brain trusts that more and can manage it more so that we can ultimately go and to achieve it. It's what we talk about is moving from micro goals and micro victories to more macro kinds of goals, macro victories as we gain momentum and build momentum there. All right. And then lastly, in this segment, as we start to think about finishing strong in 2025, we have to make sure that we're building systems, that we're building momentum, that we're building cadence and strength for the journey, not just slogans. So we have to create some implementation intentions is what we call about it, or say in psychology. Implementation is my intent to implement some stuff like I'm a writer and I want to write more regularly. Therefore, my implementation intent is I will write for 30 minutes every day, starting at 7 a.m., right? Whether I wake up, so before I get up and I start brushing my teeth and I run to pour my coffee, I just pull out my journal, I start writing for 30 minutes. It's my intention, implementation intention, right? I'm going to clean up this entire room because I'm a cleaner. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put a solid hour and a half on this room tomorrow. And then I'm going to do an hour and a half the next day. And this whole place is going to be clean by Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm going to chunk the goal, make it smaller, make the goal smaller, incremental progress toward the bigger, and then build these systems like I'm going to go to the gym. When I get to the gym, I'm going to go 30 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Systematic kinds of approaches to it. All right. And that will help us make sure that we can be more successful. All right. So we're getting toward the end of the show. I want to make sure we close with some practical strategies for a few minutes. But before I do that, I'm going to put us back into the hands of some good old music. So let's see if you enjoy this selection. A few minutes of this. Enjoy.
What does it truly mean to do good work? It's not just about excellence, it's about making a real difference. Do Good Work podcast explores how impactful work can transform lives and communities. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for the Do Good Work podcast. Stream live on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Be part of a community that values meaningful change. Our mission is to highlight leaders, educators, politicians, and change makers everywhere. We redefine success by showcasing stories of transformation, liberation, and innovation. In each episode, discover how individuals like yourself can and are making a difference. Through inspiring stories, we aim to ignite your passion for change. Learn from those who are not just succeeding, but are also impacting lives positively. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episodes. Follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. Stay connected and be part of our growing community. Engagement is key. Drop comments in the chat. And know your support helps us continue to bring impactful stories to light. Double tap and show some love for the work that truly matters. Missed an episode?
No worries.
Catch up on past episodes for more insights and inspiration. Each story offers a unique perspective on doing good work. Revisit powerful conversations and learn from diverse voices. Every episode is a chance to gain new understanding and motivation. Don't just do something good. By subscribing and engaging with us every Sunday, you'll be part of a movement that values meaningful impact. Call to action: subscribe, watch, and engage with us every Sunday. Let's make a difference together. Do good work.
All right. Here we are in the last few moments, and I want to make sure before we end up tonight, you walk away with some practical strategies about what to do. So here's where we're going to do this. And so if you have hacks, life hacks, or things that work, feel free to share, drop them in the chat. But a couple things is, if you're going to finish strong 2025, last 31 days of the year, planning for 2026, but not waiting for 2026. So you got stuff to do this year. And there's still time. It's not too late. One, be sure that you define the win. What does success look like? Be specific, not just say, I want to be better at work. I want to be better in this relationship. I want to be better in this friendship. I want to be better about communicating. Be specific. I want 30 minutes of deep work 4 days a week. I want at least a solid hour of uninterrupted cleaning time on this big project. I want to devote at least 40 minutes of every day to creating new content for my channels and blogs, whatever it might be. I want a solid, 30-minute conversation with my supervisor each week so I can think about how to level set and strategize for the next couple weeks. Be specific. Define the win. What does success look like? 2, audit your circle. Surround yourself with people who are do good work people who are not dream killers, but dream activators, folks who will tell you you can do it, give you some tips on how to do it, who will lend a helping hand. Audit your circle. See who you got around you and how they're thinking about your past, your present, and certainly your future. Number 3, track behavior, not feelings. Feelings can lie to you. I remember the other day, I woke up and I thought I was feeling kind of tired. And I was like, it's a kind of gray day outside. It's cold or cooler than I wanted to be. And I was like, I feel like I want to lay in bed. And I ended up getting up. For those who tuned in, I launched the TLS Talk on Saturday, and already that show has had more, views than our typical show. So track behavior and data, not feelings, because I got up, and once I got up and I got to the screen, I started thinking creatively about the kinds of things I wanted to work on and the different video and assets I worked on. I had a lot of energy. I got a lot done that day. So look at what you're doing, not just how you're feeling, and push yourself to do, even sometimes when you don't feel it. And you'll be surprised the kind of energy that will meet you there. 4, protect your energy the way that you protect your phone battery. Folks, usually when you're looking at your phone, you see that little charger on the side and it's like down to 30%, down to 20%. Oh my gosh, if it dared get down to 7%, y'all know what we do. We start closing the apps. We're less likely to talk on the phone. And first time we get on the phone, what do we tell people? I can't talk very long because I'm down to 2%. And if, I've been traveling before, my battery will get low, and I will not listen to music. I will not talk long on the phone because I'm trying to preserve my battery so I can get my Uber to get to my hotel. Well, why do we do that? Why do we preserve the battery of our cell phone, but we don't preserve the battery of our body? We will allow people to run out our energy, that even in the middle of us trying to accomplish our goals and our dreams and our tasks for the day, close some apps. Those are people, some habits, some demands. Say no instead of saying yes sometime. Close some of those apps that are draining you and zapping your energy, especially when you're goal-oriented, goal-focused, thinking about how to finish strong and how to get into 2026. And then lastly, start to rehearse the life. Number 5, rehearse the life that you want. Practice daily what you hope to embody on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year basis. Habits for the year start with day-to-day practice. Things that we keep for the year start by what we do daily, what we do in the moment, right? So if you can't go to the mailbox every day, start by going once a week. And then once you hit that marker, increase it to twice a week. Now 3 times a week. Before you know it, this daily kind of practice will help you embody those kind of things for the year. So if you want a different life, you got to start rehearsing it. You got to start designing it. You have to start planning for it. Repetition becomes the architect of transformation. We change in our practices and in our day-to-day embodiments because we start to repeat it, right? So if I wake up tomorrow, which I'm not talking to y'all, only I'm talking to myself now. When I wake up tomorrow, I've got to give myself time at the screen just to write, right? And whatever it is, I just give myself time. And then I do that on Monday. I repeat it on Tuesday. I repeat it on Wednesday. Before you know it, even in this final month, the last 31 days, I can finish strong with some of the writing projects that have been before me that I must finish by repeating them step by step, day by day, minute by minute. Listen, if you learned anything in this episode and enjoy the content, I want you to go and be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching tonight's show. Go to YouTube. We're on lots of different platforms, but check out YouTube, like and subscribe to that channel. Get ready for the next TLS Talks. It's coming to you this week. If you subscribe to the channel, then as we drop new content and new lives, you'll be notified and informed about it. So click that notification button. But remember, as we leave from this show tonight, don't be afraid to go out in the world and to do something. If you're going to do something, I would say do something good. And y'all know what we call it. We call it do good work. That ends tonight's episode. It's been great to be with you. I certainly want to wish you a very productive week. And by the time we gather again for Do Good Work podcast, we'll be well into the month of December. So I am looking forward to what we will accomplish. And until then, peace.
All them shines, they let me hold it, but I'm still holy. Ain't no changing, but I'm seasons rolling. I'm still holy. Still holy. Demons gave me where to be. Holy. Jesus, he's unsinging. Holy. He the reason now. Still holy. In the dark. Still holy. In the light. Still holy. Messed up. Still holy. Got right. Still holy. In the day.